Hello students, for semester 2 I am supposed to take module 2 for your statistical portion, in which regression analysis is the major topic. In that particular module you are supposed to learn these 5 topics, which are linear regression, regression equations, 2 lines of regression, properties of regression coefficients, and numerical problems. So first of all, we should learn about the regression analysis. Regression analysis is what? It is the estimation of relationship between dependent variable and one or more independent variable. Means it is a statistical tool, it's a statistical method for predicting the relationship between dependent variable and independent variable. And through regression analysis, with the help of regression analysis, we are also going to understand the cause and effect between dependent variable and independent variable. So regression analysis is the major statistical method, major statistical tool for estimating or predicting the cause and effect relationship between dependent variable and independent variable. So what are dependent variable and independent variable? Dependent variable is the variable on which we are going to estimate the effect, and independent variable is what? It is a causing variable. It is going to cause the effect on dependent variable. So if we are going to predict something, we have to predict about the dependent variable, and independent variable is the affecting the target variable. Target variable is here dependent variable. So independent variable is always cause some effect on dependent variable. Okay, so we will understand this variable differentiation between dependent and independent with the help of this example. So there is a research problem. That problem says that what will be the effect on sleep if we are using extreme phone use before bedtime. So effect of phone use before bedtime on sleep means, if we are going to sleep and before sleep if we are using phone, what will be the effect of that phone use on the quality of sleep. So here dependent variable is what? That how we are increasing or decreasing our number of hours of sleep, and what will be the quality of sleep. What will be the independent variable here? Independent variable is the amount of phone use before bed. If we are using too much of phone before bedtime, obviously our sleep will be going to be affected. So here we are going to understand the effect on which variable? On the quality of sleep. And what is the causing variable is the amount of phone use. So causing variable is always independent variable. So amount of phone use is the independent variable, and the effect, what will be the effect? The effect will be on our sleep. So whatever quality of sleep is the dependent variable. I think all of you is understanding this concept. So here the difference between correlation and regression. I think you have studied about correlation. So correlation is what? It is a interconnection or correlation between variables. There is no such kind of independent or dependent variable in the concept of correlation. But in regression analysis, there is a concept of dependent and independent variable, because we are estimating the relationship between dependent and independent variable with the help of regression equation. We are forecasting the effect on dependent variable of independent variable with the help of regression coefficient, with the help of regression equation. But in correlation, we are understanding the degree of relationship. Degree of relation. Degree means that what kind of relationship is that? It can be positive, it can be negative, it can be strong, it can be weak. Okay, but in regression there is no such kind of degree. We are simply going to understand the effect. We are just simply going to understand the relationship between dependent and independent variable. If one variable is increasing, what will be the effect on another variable? But in correlation, there is no such of concept. We are just simply calculating the interconnection between variables. Okay. But whenever you learn about regression analysis, you must first consider what will be the dependent variable and what will be the independent variable. And in correlation, we find the numerical value, which is correlation coefficient, which gives the idea about how the relationship between variables is going to be. Okay. With the help of that correlation coefficient, we understand the relationship between variables. Like if correlation coefficient is in minus form, it is in negative form. So the relationship between variable is in downward form. It is going to be negative. And if that correlation coefficient is in a positive value, the relationship is in upward relationship. It is going to be positive. I think, are you understanding? But in regression analysis, regression coefficient is there. We are going to calculate the regression coefficient, and with that help we are going to predict the relationship. There is a prediction between variables, but here we are just simply understanding the interconnection, simply understanding the relationship. And in correlation, there is no such concept of cause and effect understanding, but in regression, there is a concept, there is a must concept that we are going to understand the cause and effect relationship between dependent and independent variable. Okay. So this is the major basic difference between correlation and regression. Then another topic in your module is that linear regression. So linear means what? Line, straight line. So why we are going to understand about linear regression? Because linear relationship are easier to work with. Lines are easier to understand, no? If there is some relationship which are shown by zigzag line or S-shaped lines, U-shaped lines, it is very difficult to understand understand the relationship between variables. But if that relationship is shown with the help of a straight line, it is easier to understand, no? It is easier to predict. It is easier to make sense that between these variables, what will be the connection, what will be the relationship. So, why we are going to learn about linear relationship? Because lines are easier to work with. Lines are easier to understand. And in some cases, if variables are not linearly related, so researchers or scientists, what they do? They use some mathematical formula, mathematical tools or statistical equations to make the variables in form of linear relation. So they use equations or they use some mathematical tools to make the variables linearly related so that it is easier to understand. So next topic is what is simple linear regression. Simple linear regression, for understanding this thing, you have to first consider that there should be only two variables. Okay, one should be dependent variable and another should be independent variable. So the relationship between these two variables is shown with the help of regression line, and that regression line is considered as the simple linear regression model. So here in this graph, you can see that my sleep, which are denoted in hours, plotted on x-axis. Okay, here x is independent variable. Okay, and my grumpiness means annoying situation after your sleep. Sometimes we wake up with some annoyingness. You are not in a good mood. So that not good mood condition is known as grumpiness. So this grumpiness are denoted on y-axis. So y is the dependent variable. These are, my grumpiness is dependent variable, which is dependent on which variable? My sleep hours. So x-axis is the x-axis showing the independent variables and y-axis showing the dependent variables. So simple linear regression plots the relationship between two variables. These two are dependent and independent variables. Okay. And this line of, what is line of regression? The best fitted line. These dots are, you can see some dots here. So these dots are the observations. These are the data. These dots are data. And this line of regression, the line, the straight line which connects more data with that. Okay. If that line connects more data with that, that line will be the best fitting regression line. That line will be known as line of regression. You can say that miss, we can draw a line here in above of this line, above of this blue line, or down of this line, but that will not be the best fitting line because it will not connect with most of the data. So we there is some equation to found how we are going to make the best fitting line. So in simple terms, you can just understand that the best fitting line will be the straight line which will connect more of the data with that. So here you can see that, so means maximum data are interconnected with that line. You can, if you are drawing a line diagonally to this blue line, there will be no more connection with the data. If you are drawing a line below that or above that blue line, you can also not going to connect with more data. But this blue line is, here you can say here one observation is connected, here 2 or 3 observations are connected. So it is crossing with or interconnecting with much more observation, much more data. So this is known as the best fitting regression line, and in simple terms it is known as the line of regression. So in broader terms, simple linear regression is the relationship between dependent and independent variable which is plotted on the graph. Okay. So I told that there is an equation to understand the linear regression model, and that equation is capital Y is equal to A plus B capital X. Here Y and X are the variables. Variables means what? The term variables means what? Variables means that varies, that changes. Variable is not a fixed quantity. It's not a fixed character. It will change. Like time is a variable. Okay. Your height is not fixed. It is a variable thing. It will vary. So height is a variable. Your sleeping hours, for some people it will be 6 hours, for some people it will be 10 hours. So variable, whenever you come across this word variable, means a character which varies. Height, age, sleeping hours, study hours. Okay, the amount of food intake, the amount of medicine intake, these all things are variable because it is not fixed for everybody. You know that sun rises in the east. It is not a variable. It is a statement. Okay, sun rises in the east. It is true for everybody. But your age, your quantity of food you take, it is very different from one person to another. So these characteristics, these observations are variable. Okay, I think you got the idea about the concept. What is variable? The term variable. Variable means that varies, that changes. So here Y and X are the variables, and small a and b are the mathematical constant. These are the constant values. These are some numerical values which are constant. I think you all have studied the algebra in your 10th or 12th classes. Okay, so you can understand that Y and X are the variables and a and b are the constant. So here we have plotted the straight line, and here we know that this straight line is the data. It is a data showing the relationship between Y and X variable. So the height of the line, this blue line, blue arrow down here, small, which is denoted by A. The height of line tells the average value of Y at fixed value of x. Okay, at whatever value we have in terms of x, we plot the graph against the y value also. I think you all know how to plot the data, is it? We take value with the x-axis and we take the value with the y-axis, and then we give the dot in the graph, is it? So this height is what? Height is basically the relationship between y and x variable, and this height is known as intercept, which is denoted by a. So here the a, which I told is a constant, mathematical constant, is known as intercept. Intercept means the crossing between y-axis and this straight line. So at whatever value this straight line crosses on y-axis, that particular height, that particular value will be known as intercept and denoted as small a. And then what is the small b? Small b is the slope. Then what is slope? Slope is the gives the average amount of change in per unit of x. Means when any change occurred in the value of x, in the same reference the y will also change, because these are depending. These two variables are interdepending. So if x is going to be changed, y will also change. So if one unit change occurs in, one unit change occurs in x variable, the same 1 unit change will occur in y variable also, and this change is denoted by slope, which is b, small b. And this all relationship is expressed as the particular equation, that is linear regression equation, that is capital Y is equal to small a plus small b capital X. So, okay, so this is the basic linear regression equation, okay, which is here denoted here in the left hand side in red color. This is a basic regression equation, okay. Now in your module you have to learn about the 2 lines of regression, okay. So I have given an example. With the help of this example you can understand 3 things. First, what will be the dependent variable, what will be the independent variable, and what will be the 2 regression equations, okay. In regression analysis there are 2 lines of regression equation. So with help of this example you can understand these things also. So here are 6 observations and this data about advertisement and sales. Here advertisement is denoted by capital X and sales are denoted by capital Y. So there is a company which is going to invest $100 million in first year, and it got the benefit in sales of $500 million, okay. And in next year that company invested $90 million and got the benefit $450. In third year on advertisement it invested $80 million and the benefit was $370. The likewise in fourth year the advertisement investment was $95 million and the sales benefit was $460. So now company is up to 4 years, there is the relationship between advertisement and sales was known to company. But in 5th year company decided that it will going to invest $125 million on advertisement. So what will be the sales output? What kind of benefit in sales that company will get if it is going to invest $125 million? This 125 is a larger value than the past values, is it? This 125 is larger than the past investment. So now company is going to predict that what will be the sales output if that company is going to invest $125 million. In another way, if company wants to make $600 million dollar sales benefit, so what amount it has to invest on advertisement. So both prediction we can do. Okay, both prediction we can do with the help of regression equation. So if sales depends on advertisement, if this sales depends, this sales is the dependent variable because it is going to depend on advertisement. So advertisement here is the independent variable. In first case, if sales is dependent on advertisement, in that case sales is the dependent variable and advertisement is the independent variable. So we have to found the regression equation in the form of y depends on x. Here y is the sales and sales is going to depend on advertisement. Advertisement is what? X. So if we are going to predict that relation, we have to find the equation on y depends on x or y on x. This is the first line of regression equation. Okay. In another way, if advertisement is going to depend on sales, okay, if company wants to make $600 million sales output, so what will be the investment on advertisement? So here advertisement is going to depend on sales. So sales is here independent variable and advertisement is dependent variable. So in that case, the equation we have to found in the terms of x depends on y. Here x, advertisement, is going to depend on y, or the equation will be in the form of x on y. Okay. So in next topic, in next class, or in next video, I will discuss about the regression equation in both the terms, like y on x and x on y. It is very important because there is some equation calculation, and on that equation you will get some numerical problems. So I think up to this you got the clear idea about topic which I have discussed. I think everything is clear to you all. Any problem, then you just send me the message. Thank you all.